all of these buildings have tombs in them with caskets of everybody that's in their family. And some of them are really, really, really well taken care of. This casket is being held outside the tomb for repairs. Because these tombs are considered to be private property, the cemetery does not take care of them. It's up to the family to do so. A lot of times the family isn't able to take care of them and things break and become a mess, but nothing can be done about it. This one has all of the glass broken out of the doors, and then all the wind has made all the dust and stuff go in there. Everything's broken. There's some caskets. There's a buttress right there. A buttress is a mold of the person, or a carving of the person from their shoulders up, basically. And then you can see down there that there's more caskets, and there's about 3 rows up, so there's 6 of them down there. Dirt and dust gets blown into the rooms that have the glass broken out of them, and then because they're already dirty, people also put their trash, and it's gross and mean and rude. In a lot of the tombs, you'll see small boxes or smaller caskets or urns, and that is because people often have their pets buried with them. If the pet dies before the person, they can have it put into the tomb before them, or if the pet dies after the person, their family members can have the pet put in the tomb with them. That most people back in the olden days used to get buried by churches, really close to the church. But now they're not allowed to anymore, so their tombs are designed after chapels, and on the inside of them they'll have little Christ statues and a lot of stained glass to represent the chapels that they weren't able to be buried by anymore. Because it's so hard to maintain, a lot of these places will have problems where the tombs open up and then the caskets explode. Like right here, part of the building fell off, so they have to redo it, and all of the caskets are still just right here. They don't want to disturb them or move them, so they're just fixing it and putting the front of it back up. But because embalming, which is where they prepare your body after you die, nothing smells bad because the body's preserved. Because the cemetery is so popular, and because it's where all the rich and famous people of Argentina get buried, there are no more plots for sale. There are some empty tombs that no one in the family has died yet, but you can't buy a plot here unless you are able to buy it from someone else who already owns it. This girl died when she was in her 20s, and after she died in an avalanche, her mom had a statue made of her, and her dog, after he died a few years later, her mom made a statue of the dog and put it under her hand. The dog is buried in the tomb with her, but her mom wanted to give some tribute to the dog for statue of the dog. On his nose, all of the green bronze is rubbed off because everyone comes here and pets the dog's nose for good luck. Here is a tomb of a young lady who died, and her mom made a statue of her guarding her own tomb so she could check on herself when she needed to. Here is the tomb of Evita Perón, who was a very famous first lady in this country. His body was stolen from her grave by some grave robbers, and they had it for a long time, but then they returned it back to her family, and it was then buried here. So in this cemetery, they have everyone from presidents, first ladies, Nobel Peace Prize winners, rich people, and famous athletes. I don't know who she is, but she's pretty cool. Right here, coming up, we have a man that was famous for boxing, And recently, within the last couple of years, his punch was named one of the hardest 100 punches in all of boxing time. He is out here in his boxing shoes and his robes in front of his tomb. Some of these tombs, before the person died, they were able to design their own tombs. Others, family members designed them for them. But there's a statue here of a man, I don't know where it is, but he made it of himself before he died, and then told his family that he wanted it to be placed in front of his tomb. This cemetery is one of the very few cemeteries that only puts the death date of the person that's in the tomb. So the only way you know how old they are is if you've heard a story about them or if their family decides to publish it on the tomb. I don't know why these are exposed or how long they have been. It's pretty interesting. This is a tomb of one of the generals in Argentina. His son built it by himself with his own hands, and his son said that he wanted it to represent the wilderness that his dad was in all the time, so he built it. Next to it is the tomb of a man that was a ship sailor, and I don't remember what was gonna be said. Yeah, I do. Part of the ship is buried with him. The hull was melted down and made into part of his tomb. According to popular myths, cats are very good with spirits. They can tell when they're around, and they can also calm them down when they're angry. So, there are about a bazillion cats that live in the Ricoleta cemetery. They'll feed them and take care of them, and in turn, the cats keep the spirits calm and the cemetery safe. And they're cute, and they're nice, and you can pet them, and they give you fleas. There are a lot of dogs that live outside in the parks around the cemetery, but none of them live inside because the cats are the ones that take care of the cemeteries, not the dogs.